Job hunting is hard. I don't think you need me telling you that. And bonus points if you're a foreigner. There's a famous quote by a Greek philosopher, Seneca, which says, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Well, that statement is very true when it comes to job hunting. Here's a list of 8 things that you can do to increase your chance of getting hired when that opportunity finally arises. However, before we dive into that, I don't want you guys thinking I'm talking out of my ass or anything like that. So I want to share a bit of my background so that you guys understand where I'm coming from. So I studied electrical and computer engineering at UCT for about 4 years. No, not about 4 years, for 4 years. And during those 4 years, I had a total of 5 different internships at 5 different tech companies within South Africa. And I think about 5 months ago, I also started interviewing potential candidates for graduate and associate positions at my company. So, I've had some insights both as a job hunter and on the other side of the coin as an interviewer. And I want to share my experiences with you guys, things I've observed, Anyways, let's get started, eh? Work on your professional network. Let me tell you a secret. Your professional network is by far the most important asset you have when it comes to job hunting. You can have the perfect CV and send out emails to a billion recruiters and not get a single response. I'm sure you've heard of those, situations where there's a white boy who ends up being your manager, yet they don't have a single degree. Wow, that's not professional networking, that's nepotism. But my point is, they got that job because they knew somebody who knew somebody. And that's basically what professional networking is. It's just a network of plugs. So I picked this up when, whilst I was still in varsity. So thing is, every time I work with somebody who's more experienced than I am in whatever domain they're in, I always try to engage that person and find out where they're from, what's their story, how did they get to that position, what did they study, what sort of qualifications did they use, what they plugged, that kind of thing. And one thing has remained consistent in pretty much all the conversations I've had with these guys. At some point in their career, they got plugged by somebody they knew, like that kind of thing. It's everywhere. If you want your career to go up, you need a good professional network. Now, a good professional network can't be built overnight, and unfortunately, by the time you need a good professional network, it's already way too late to start building one. So, the best time to start building a professional network is yesterday, and if you haven't started yesterday, then you should probably start now. Okay, so you can start by number 2, join LinkedIn and actually use it. LinkedIn is actually a great plug, and it's actually the first thing I recommend you do to address point number 1. LinkedIn is a professional social network, and trust me, people on LinkedIn really want to keep it that way. Because of this, LinkedIn has become the go-to place for people who are looking for jobs. And wherever there's a high number of people looking for jobs, you will find a fairly decent concentration of recruiters, people offering the jobs. Go ahead, create that LinkedIn account and make sure you fill in all the details about your experience, your career, what you're looking for, everything. Make sure you add all those tags, because that's the information recruiters use when they're looking for people. So, the more information you have about you and your career prospects, the greater the chances of recruiters finding you. And while you're at it, you should probably start paying attention to number 3. Have an online presence. Don't just have an online presence, have a good online presence. You want to be in control of what people see when they try to stalk you. You don't have the luxury of creating a 10-page CV and talking about your personality and interest in there. It's kind of boring. And when recruiters come across your LinkedIn profile or your bomb-ass CV, they're probably gonna, search your name on Google. And the easiest way to control what they see on Google is to create a website. Create a website where you can put your CV, you can put your projects, you can put if you're a photographer like me, you can put your portfolio there. You can just add everything that you want people to learn about you. And voila, you're done. That's pretty much it. Now, you also have to, make sure your social media doesn't have problematic things on it, because people lose jobs over that these days. In fact, I remember 2 instances where my website came in really handy. So this one lady, one of them, it was a lady who was looking for a new tutor for their kid. And whilst they were looking through tutors, they came across my website and they really enjoyed my website. And they got it. The reason why they really liked it is because they got to learn more about me before they even got to talk to me. So it made the process easier for them, and well, this is actually a topic I enjoy talking about. So if you're interested, I actually wrote an article on this subject, which you can check out on my blog. Link is in the description. Moving on to number 4, get some work experience. Did you hear that? Anyways, get some work experience. Wow, are you honestly censoring that word? The hate against work experience is understandable and justified. As a graduate, you haven't had the chance or the time to actually work for the 2, 3, 4, 5 years of experience needed for that entry-level position. Honestly, this concept of work experience for graduates has got to be the biggest draw in adulting. Well, there's certain things you can never learn from a textbook. In fact, the skills and knowledge required for most jobs actually can never be taught in a degree. I know in IT, there are certain careers and jobs that exist that do not have a single degree that can prepare you for them. I learned this in my first internship. After that internship, I was so obsessed with just getting as much work experience as possible by the time I graduate. Probably explains why I ended up having 5 different internships. It definitely helped me. I think it helped me out the most when it came to job hunting when I finished, because to get a critical skills visa, you have to apply for a professional body, and that professional body, they need work experience. If you don't have any, you can forget about it. So yeah, that definitely helped me out there. Anyways, moving on to number 5, volunteer and offer your services for free. Whatever your skills are, you are needed. There's a large number of NGOs and charity organizations out there that are in desperate need of skilled labor, or actually just labor in general. Volunteering is one of those things that most of us don't really consider, because, well, doing things for free isn't really the first thing you think of, especially when you're unemployed. Anyway, sticking to the theme of the video, volunteering not only makes your CV look good, but it's a great way to sharpen your skills, get that much needed work experience, network with other people in very different industries. You never know, you could find a really nice job out there. And lastly, it's giving back to the community. I don't think we have enough of that. People are just so busy, stressed, and just stressed about being an adult. They never really considered volunteering and doing things for free. You know what you studied, you know your skills. Find a way to exercise those skills by volunteering and offering your services for free to people who can't necessarily afford your skills. Like a simple example, let's say you have your mom's friend has a car rental or a car repair shop. They might need some way of keeping track of their inventory, or maybe a website to advertise their business. I don't know, be creative. Moving on to number 6. Take part in your studies. Do you ever wonder why some courses have so many projects and assignments and tests in them? In fact, at UCT, computer science courses, 50% of your course mark comes from the exam. The other 50% comes from your tests and assignments and labs. The reason they weigh the coursework so much, 50%, is because they understand that application and experience is way more important than theory. That's them trying to get you that much needed experience before you graduate. So if you don't participate in your projects and your assignments, it's gonna come back and bite you 3, 4, 5 years down the line when you're asked a question during an interview. Can you please describe this and that? And you have actually used that thing before in a project, but because you weren't participating, you can't even explain what was going on. A good interviewer will test your understanding, and if you don't understand something, it's very easy to tell when somebody's trying to bullshit. Anyways, moving on to the next one, number 7, have a good CV. What makes a good CV is the content on it. You can have a very colorful CV that stands out in a pile, but if there's nothing interesting on it, it's a pretty useless CV. If you did everything above that I spoke about and other things, then your CV is gonna look good. Anyways, there's a couple of things you can do to make sure, to improve your CV, to make sure that it's as good as it can get. And I'm actually planning a video on this subject, so keep an eye out for that. But one thing I'll tell you is this: always make personalized CVs. You're not applying for the same job at the same company. Why should you use the same CV? Anyways, moving on to the last one. Consider pivoting. Okay, so you've done everything on this list. You have a bomb-ass CV, you have the best-looking website, it shows up on all Google searches, you have 1,000 followers on LinkedIn, you've sent out 1 billion applications, and you're still unemployed. If you're at this stage, well, it might be time to pivot. Pivoting is basically it's like taking a short lift. Let's take South Africa as an example. In case you're not aware of this, SA is suffering from a severe shortage of skilled labor. In fact, it's so bad, they created an entire visa to make it easier for skilled labor to get into the country. And by the way, I'm on that visa. It's called a critical skills visa. And I have a video on the topic, so, watch it after this one though. Pivoting is basically when you change your career path, actually when you drastically change your career path. And it's very common for people who actually enter IT. A lot of the people I've spoken to, they started their careers elsewhere. A lot of the time they were doing geography, and they were doing some data processing, and they're like, wow, I actually quite enjoy programming. And then they start researching, and boom, they have a job that pays a lot more than what they were doing before. It's very unfortunate that we don't get good career advice when you're leaving high school. Our teachers and parents, they try to force us to study engineering, accounting, medicine, and law. And whereas some of these fields aren't for everyone, and some of these fields are so saturated that getting an entry-level job is almost impossible. And if you're lucky enough to get that job, it probably pays peanuts until you have like 10 years of experience or something. So if you're at this stage, you might want to consider pivoting to a different career, open up your options. You don't have to work in the same domain that you study, and you're an adult now. You can make decisions for yourself, by yourself. I think you can. African parents will remain your parents forever. Okay, fellow adults, acting adults, mature adults, let me know down in the comments what your best advice is for somebody who's looking for a job. Someone, you're stuck and you just want to try something new. What are your tricks? What tricks do you have up your sleeve? Okay, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. YouTube really likes that, eh? Okay, you have a good day. I really need to find a good way of ending these videos. Okay, you have a good day. I'm gonna, I don't know, what am I gonna do now? Okay, some comments from my last video. I really enjoyed making my last video, by the way. Here's a comment from Audrey. I was tired of working in Cape Town, so when I was looking for a car, I would ask if there's a car I could buy for 1.5. And I'll get told, nah ma'am, either for a car not found. Wow. I waited a little longer until I found it at an auction. With fuel and insurance, I paid 2.3 a month. That is amazing. I'm genuinely jealous of you, fam. It's a cheap car, but it does the job. Not planning to change my lifestyle until I have a certain amount of savings in my account, and that way my savings just accumulate interest for me. That is what we call adulting. Yeah, well done, Audrey. So I was actually quite shocked. She managed to get a car for that much money. And it turns out it's a thing. Car auctions are the actual plug. I didn't really realize this. Which camera should I be looking at here? I didn't realize this until I actually researched this. I'm gonna leave a link to a few auction sites you can check out for cars. You might find your dream car there. Anyways, next comment. Yo guys, I recorded that video at like 9 o'clock in the evening. My credits were depleted by that time. So yeah, today I recorded at 4 o'clock, so my English was a little bit better today. Yeah. He is my boy Kingsley. You should slowly think about being a motivational speaker sometime. That wouldn't be such a bad idea actually. I really enjoy mentoring people already, so yeah, definitely think about that. Last comment, keynotes. No babies, more money. That's pretty much it. You can sum up adulting as just that. Yeah. Anyways, you guys have a good day.